20 jumping jacks, 10 squats, and 10 good mornings. For the boot camp part, once we're done the warm-up, we're going to do 12 ground overheads, 15 elevated push-ups, 10 leg lowers per side, 10 reverse lunges, 10 mountain climbers. We'll be starting on a nice stable floor, and we're going to start with 20.
A modification to make this easier is to just step one leg out instead of jumping.
Okay, that's 20. If that's too much for you, you can just do out to the side, just tapping, like so. The next one will be our 10 squats. So feet will be about hip width apart, and you're just going to sit your butt back, and we're just going to do 10 squats, trying to keep your chest up. You should be feeling this in your glutes, in your butt, and also your thighs. Okay, next we're going to do 10 good mornings, and the feet are kind of in the same position, and you're just going to hinge forward, kind of like a drinking bird, so I'll show you from the side. You're just hinging forward from the hips, keeping the chest up, and it's okay if your knees bend just a little bit. Should feel comfortable. This is going to come in handy when we do our ground overhead. Okay, that's 10. So now we're going to get back into our jumping jacks. You can do either the stepping out variation or the jumping jacks like so. Perfect. Now we're into our 10 squats. Moving at your own pace, there's no rush in the warm-up especially. Okay, and then our hip hinges. You should feel a little bit of a stretch in the backs of your legs and your hamstrings. The legs are staying relatively straight while you're just hinging from the hips. Okay, last set of our warm-up. Okay, 10 squats. Maybe you start to go just a little bit lower into those squats if it's comfortable. Okay, hip hinge. I'll show you from the side again. Keep those hands on your hips if it's comfortable. And again, we're just hinging from the hips, so the knees are staying relatively straight, maybe just a little bit of a bend. Okay, we're warmed up. Now we're going to be moving into the workout. So for your equipment, you can use, I have a plate here, but that's definitely not necessary. So if you have a book, like a dictionary or something, a textbook, kind of heavy, that's what we're going to be using for our ground to overhead, which I'll show you in a second. You also want a mat of some kind, or your bed, something soft, just to put underneath the hips for when we do our core exercise. And then you can use something elevated like your couch or your bed, and that's going to be for our incline push-up. I will also explain. So the first exercise is called the ground overhead. So we're going to grab our book, and basically what we're doing, I'll show you from this side, we're in that same position as we were in for the squat and the hip hinge, and what we're thinking of doing is we're bending the knees and the hips at the same time, but we're keeping the chest up, and we're letting that book or that weight come down, and then we're using the hips to lift arms up. So this is primarily a lower body exercise, so we're hinging, and then we're pressing. Okay, that's the ground overhead. We'll be doing 12 of those. The next exercise is our elevated push-up. So on your couch or on your bed, put your hands down flat. Make sure that your hips are in line with your shoulders and your feet, so you're not sticking your butt way up in the air, but it's also not sagging way down into kind of an upward dog position. And you're kind of engaging a little bit through the abdominals there. And then from here, we can start to move through our push-up. Now if this is too difficult, and for many it will be, you can take it to the wall. And you can kind of play with how far you are from the wall as you lower. So keeping those abdominals engaged as you move through the motion. And it doesn't matter if you can't get all the way through the range of motion, that's fine. Just go through a comfortable range of motion. Then we're going to move into our core exercise. All right, I have to mention that for the push-ups, we're doing 15 of those. And then for our core, we're going to be doing some leg lowers. So you're going to lower yourself down onto the mat and just start to engage a little bit through the abdominals. And then from here, we'll bring the knees up to about 90 degrees. Keep that engagement through the abdominals as you lower one leg. And then you'll come back. But this should really be quite stationary here. So if you start to kind of arch as you lower, then you can actually just slide your leg along the mat. Like so. So that's the leg lowers. And we're doing 10 per side of that one. We're also going to be doing 10 per side of the reverse lunge. So I'll show you from the front to begin with. You're going to step back and lower down. And this back knee doesn't need to touch all the way down. You might just be doing a little mini lunge, but your chest should be up. And you should try to keep your knee from drifting forward past your toes. So we'll be alternating. You're just stepping down as you go. I'll show you from the side as well. So my chest is up, abdominals are engaged, and you should be feeling this in the glute and in the quad. Okay? So that's the reverse lunge, 10 per side. Now we're into our mountain climbers. We'll be doing 10 per side of this one as well. So we're coming back to the couch. We're in that nice top of the push-up or plank position that we were in at the beginning. And we're bringing a knee in toward the same elbow. So my right knee is going toward my right elbow. And then I'm doing the same thing on the left. And that's my mountain climber. So you can make it more of an abdominal type exercise by really moving slowly and with control. Or you could do it a little bit quicker if that was what you wanted to work on today. Okay? So that's 10 per side of that one. So what this is going to look like, starting the timer, we're going to be doing our ground overhead to start. So grab your book, and I'm going to set the timer. Okay, 12 reps. here. And we'll be doing 15, so you can do these either at the wall or on an elevated surface like your couch. So let's get into position. Timer's about to go. Okay. Slow and controlled on the way down. For my last 5, I'll show you at the wall. So if you step your feet further away, it's going to be more challenging. Perfect. Once you're done your 15 reps, you can grab another drink of water, mentally prepare for the next one, which will be our reverse lunge. Okay, we're starting our leg lowers. So knees are up, engaging through the abdominals, and we're going to do 10 per side. Nice and slowly. Really trying to suck the belly in. If you want a little bit more, you can reach the arms overhead. Okay, starting with our reverse lunge, you can grab your big book and hold it close to your chest for a little bit of extra difficulty. But you don't have to go all the way down. You can do just these little mini lunges, or you can go all the way down. So we'll be doing 10 each side, or if you're alternating, you just count to 20. Keep your abdominals engaged as you step back. Okay. We'll start our mountain climbers. So nice flat back here. Bring the same knee, same elbow. Don't let those elbows hyperextend, so keep them soft. That's funny. Okay, we get 1 minute of rest, and then we'll be moving on to our second set. So now that we're getting used to the movements, you might decide to go maybe a little bit deeper into the exercise, or you might decide to go just a little bit faster if you're feeling good. But, you know, this is your first time doing boot camp, so we're going to keep it pretty simple. we're getting into position for our ground overhead. I'll be doing 12. Okay, 12. Off we go. Okay. Getting ready for our elevated push-up. Again, 15 at the wall or at your couch or your bed. Make sure that those arms are nice and wide. Okay, 15. Make sure you're breathing as you go. Okay. Next we have our leg lowers. So, see me properly. If you want a little bit more, you can reach the arms overhead. Okay, next we have our reverse lunge. When you're doing the lunge, make sure that your knee is tracking over the pinky side of your foot, so it's not caving in. So just make sure you're watching, that you can see your big toe the whole time. We're going to finish off with our mountain climbers. Perfect. 10 each side. Once rest after this minute is up. All right, 1 minute rest. There we go. How many more seconds of rest? All right, grab that overhead. You're doing 12. Off you go. All right. After your 12, and a couple seconds rest, if you did those quickly. Now we'll do our incline push-up. Get into position, and 15 at the wall or the couch. Breathe out as you lower. The last ones can feel pretty tough. If you need a break, you have the whole minute to finish your repetitions. Next, we have our leg lowers. So you can get yourself into position, lying down on your back, and engaging through the abdominals, lifting the knees up. Now we'll start to lower. And again, you can take your variation with the hands. If you feel more supported to have them down near your back, that's also fine. Keep drawing in through the belly. If you feel like you need to support your head, you can. Okay. Reverse lunge in 7 seconds. Again, if you want to add weight to the reverse lunge, you can use your book, or you can add some weight to a backpack and just put it on. Just make sure that your chest stays up the whole time. exercise. Mountain climber. All right, when you finished your reps, you're done. Off you go. All right. After your 12, and a couple seconds rest if you did those quickly. Then we'll do our incline push-up. Get into position, and 15 at the wall or the couch. Breathe out as you lower. The last ones can feel pretty tough. If you need a break, you have the whole minute to finish your repetitions. Next, we have our leg lowers. So you can get yourself into position, lying down on your back, and engaging through the abdominals, lifting the knees up. Now we'll start to lower. And again, you can take your variation with the hands. If you feel more supported to have them down near your back, that's also fine. Keep drawing in through the belly. If you feel like you need to support your head, you can. Okay. Reverse lunge in 7 seconds. Again, if you want to add weight to the reverse lunge, you can use your book, or you can add some weight to a backpack and just put it on. Just make sure that your chest stays up the whole time. exercise. Mountain climber. All right, when you finished your reps, you're done. Off you go. All right. After your 12, and a couple seconds rest if you did those quickly. And then we'll do our incline push-up. Get into position. And 15 at the wall or the couch. Breathe out as you lower. Last ones can feel pretty tough. If you need a break, you have the whole minute to finish your repetitions. Next, we have our leg lowers. So you can get yourself into position, lying down on your back, and engaging through the abdominals. Lifting the knees up, now we'll start to lower. And again, you can take your variation with the hands. If you feel more supported to have them down near your back, that's also fine. Keep drawing in through the belly. If you feel like you need to support your head, you can. Okay. Reverse lunge in 7 seconds. Again, if you want to add weight to the reverse lunge, you can use your book, or you can add some weight to a backpack and just put it on. Just make sure that your chest stays up the whole time. exercise. Mountain climber. All right, when you finished your reps, you're done. All right. So now we're going to do our little cool down. So lie down on your mat, and we're just going to cross one leg over the other, and then reach through, and we're just going to lie the head back down if that's comfortable. And if this is too much, you can always just keep the foot on the ground, and you should feel a stretch on the outside of the hip that's crossed over. And just take some nice deep breaths. And we'll cross over to the other side. Crossing that leg over. And one side might feel considerably better than the other. That's okay. Nice deep breaths. Even close the eye. All right. When you're ready, I'm going to take the legs nice and wide. And I find, just the camera right here. I find for me, it's a little bit easier if I sit on something that will kind of raise my hips up. So oftentimes I'll sit on a pillow or a rolled up towel just to get my hips up a bit higher because I'm not very flexible, as you can see. I'll just try to fall forward a little bit. Let the toes relax. You don't need them pointing up towards the ceiling. And just let yourself kind of sink forward. Finding some length in the spine. Just trying to counterbalance a little bit of what we just did. I want to balance that strength and that flexibility. Nice breath coming from the belly. If you're more flexible than me, you can start to take the hands forward. Maybe you can reach your toes, but doesn't matter if you can't. Whatever's comfortable for you. And when you're ready, just come back up. We're just going to do one more stretch as part of our cool down. You're going to lie on your side. And you'll bring your palms to touch so they're right on top of each other like so, and I'm resting my head down. And then as I breathe in, I'm just going to trace the arm up and around, and I might get kind of stuck. It's okay if my shoulder kind of opens up. And if my hand lifts up off the floor, that's totally fine. We're just kind of getting some mobility through the upper back and through the shoulder. And then as you breathe out, just gently trace that back. And we'll do that a couple times. And again, your arm can lift up, that's totally fine. But we're trying to keep the knees kind of plastered together on the floor. 2 more like that. Last one. Great. Okay, now we'll switch over to the other side and do the same thing. So now I'm lying on my right side, my palms are touching, knees are plastered together, and I'm just tracing that arm in my block. Just tracing it all the way around. And then as I breathe out, I'm just coming back. Resting my head down. And again, not worrying if my hand is coming up off the floor. That's okay. Just moving with your breath. One more for good measure. Awesome. Okay.